We're now being joined by Mr. G. Parthasarathy, Indian Director in India Sri Lanka Foundation on the broadcast. Mr. Parthasarathy, thank you so much for being with us here on the broadcast live. Help us understand, this election has come at an extremely difficult time for Sri Lanka as a country. It was shaken by those Easter terror attacks and then the pandemic has dealt a severe blow to its economy.
Well, the pandemic has delivered a severe blow to all world economies. But I think credit must be given to Sri Lankan democracy for, in these difficult circumstances, holding a free and fair election. And nobody is questioning that. And as long as our neighbors are democratic, it keeps us also very happy and satisfied. The question with regard to this election itself, it in a way is interesting because the most important party since independence, the United National Party, which was headed by Jayawardene and had senior members even in the last government, has now been virtually wiped out. And we are instead getting a new opposition headed by Sujit Premadasa, a young man whose father was the president. I had met him earlier on. And he seems to be coming up, and the United National Party is nowhere to be seen. This is the major transformational change.
Right. On that note, I want to ask you, we know about the Bandaranaike's ruling Sri Lankan politics for a long period of time. That was a dynasty which, several members of that family have taken leading positions in Sri Lankan politics. And now it clearly seems like it is the age of the Rajapaksas in Sri Lanka.
Well, in democratic politics, you can never say, because the Rajapakshas were thought to be unbeatable and they lost an important election which brought back the UNP. So yes, this is important, but I think really what they're going to look at and what's important for us to look at is the economy. As I said, politically they've been stable, they dealt with that Islamic State sort of violence with some support from us. But now it's going to be the economy. And one has to be very careful because China, we've had even Chinese nuclear submarines called earlier, some years ago in Colombo. That's something we would like to avoid. And we have offered to build the Colombo port together with the Japanese. But I think more importantly, we shouldn't allow China to become the exclusive partner. And I think we have to work with the Japanese, with the Americans, with the World Bank to ensure that they can have a balance. That is going to be the most important thing. The other thing is the ethnic conflict. I think we are now helping the Indian Tamils, as they are called. They live in southern Sri Lanka. They went during British rule and we neglected them. Now, over the last 5 or 6 years, there's huge assistance flowing into the Indian Tamils. The Jaffna Tamils have got their own sort of diaspora abroad, and we'll get there. We have built the rail line to Jaffna, but I think we will have to keep in touch with them. But really, we are well positioned now with the Japanese and the others. But I think we should watch out for the Chinese dragon, and I think it is also time we told the Sri Lankans, which we have done it gently. We should do it the same way in private. That we would be happier if they had more friends rather than an exclusive friends looking for cases. And more important, getting them into a debt trap, like they did with regard to the port. So I think it's extremely important that we engage them, and it's extremely good that the Prime Minister was the first foreign head of government to greet Mahinda Rajapaksa in the election. Good neighbor, but needs careful handling.
Absolutely. In that sense, I also want to ask you something, when it comes to Sri Lanka and the Rajapaksas, gaining power. The issue of the minorities in the country is something that always raises concerns. It was during Mahinda Rajapaksa's term as president that the civil war with the Tamil Tigers ended. So there are concerns with the dominance of the Rajapaksas as to what will happen to the plight of the minorities, especially the Tamil people in Sri Lanka.
Look, let's face it, the Sri Lankan Tamil in the north is relatively well off. It's really the Sri Lankan Tamil in the south to whom I've been, even in the foundation, strongly urged support. And I think we are giving it by way of education. There are a large number of housing projects. Don't forget, we spent around 400-500 crores to start with for aiding the Jaffna people. And it's being spread out now. And I think that is something to be handled. And there's, of course, the fisheries issue, which really is the people to blame are fishermen from Tamil Nadu, not the Sri Lankan Tamil or the Sri Lankan Sinhala, because it's fishing boats which really are from Tamil Nadu, which take away all their fishing resources. In fact, when I went to Jaffna, the Jaffna Tamil complained bitterly about Tamils from Madurai and so on coming and taking away their fisheries.
Right. Right, we will leave it at that. I'm afraid we've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. G. Parthasarathy, on the broadcast, Indian Director in India Sri Lanka Foundation. Thank you so much for being with us on the broadcast.